This is the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera, and in this video we're going to change the infotainment on this car. And you can see on the old one it's not a touch screen, it doesn't have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, doesn't give you any additional functionality apart from just basic Bluetooth, radio, just absolute bare minimum. So we're going to upgrade it with one of our massive 12.5-inch screen that is designed for this car. So in this video we're going to take you through how to disassemble, do all of the wiring and reassemble the dash whilst retaining all your Aston Martin original function, 360 camera, sound system, everything. So let's get started into another episode of DIY Made Easy. Now the tools required for this whole operation or the installation is quite simple. You just need some basic hand tool, side cutter to make the wiring a bit neater, and you don't actually cut the wiring, you just cut the zip ties from the wiring kit. Hook tool, this will help. Screwdriver, panel popper, some tape to make everything look nice and neat, and some basic bits that can go with your screwdriver. Now this whole process is also going to be divided into three processes, which is disassembly, all of the wiring, and the assembly back on and testing. So let's start with the disassembly process. Alright, so starting off with this center console bit right here, you'll see this cover. You have to pop that one up. That comes out, put it to the side. You'll see there's 3 Torx 20. Go ahead and undo all of them. And once you've undone all 3 of those screws, you can go ahead and slide this panel out. Now the easiest way I find to do is just pull it from here, pops out. It reveals another 2 Torx 20, so one there and one right there. Just go ahead and undo them. Alright, so now for the next bit, we have to remove this trim around here with all your seat controls. Now this customer has asked us to fix it. It's rattling for him, it seems to be a bit loose. It is quite easy to get out, so you just get your hand there. The side of it, it is actually quite loose as compared to all the other ones that we work on. Now you'll see this bunch of these tabs behind that slide it into these slots over here. So when you just slide it out, it will come out, and we can put this to the side. As you can see, this side has a metal clip and the other side is missing. That's why it's a lot loose on the other side as compared to this one. So we'll go ahead and put this one to the side as well. Now the next part we have to remove is this big trim around here. You'll see it's only held in by this 1 8mm bolt. Go ahead and undo that. And get that out. And this should just come out on clips. As you can see, there's 2 clips going that way. So you just pry it out and pull it straight back to the back of the car and the whole panel comes out. Let's go ahead and put this to the side. As you can see right here, it already has an aftermarket CarPlay system in there, which we're also going to remove during the installation. So let's go ahead and unplug the whole lot. Alright, so the next bit we have to remove is this bunch of Torx 20, 1, 2, 3 around here. This will allow for us to have a bit more room of movement on the actual panel that's on the side. So the side panels in this car come out. So this whole thing going up to the top is all one piece. So let's quickly undo these screws. Now there's one more screw right here that you have to go ahead and undo. Also a Torx 20. With all of them removed, you can see this one big piece of trim will come out from here. Just run your fingers along, the whole thing will slide out. Now let's repeat the same thing on this side. 8mm comes out first. Jesus. The whole panel will sit to the side. Then we've got those 3 Torx 20 here and 1 up there. So let's go ahead and do that. Now the only thing different on this side is once you start pulling the panel up, you'll see there's 1 plug underneath right here. There's just a push tab, so just push it from that side. So get your finger like that, press it in, and it will slide out of place. And then the same thing, just lift it up, run your finger along, and the whole thing should just come right out. And this whole center console bit comes out in one piece. So what you have to do in order to get it out, you see all of the silver bolts, you have to get them out. Now they go through the frame, the holder, into the actual console bit. So undo all of them on this side, on the other side, and then the thing should just pop out. Alright, once you've unscrewed all of the screws from the left and the right side, the next part is to remove the other 6 screws up top. Now before doing that, there's 2 revealed up here. You can go ahead and undo them. You can also remove this cover here. Just be very careful because these are very prone to cracking. We don't want them to crack. They sit in the sun directly, so they get brittle over time, and it's very, very easy to crack them. Let's go ahead and remove that. That reveals 2 Torx 20 there, so you have to use either a ratchet with Torx 20, or you can use something like this, which is a right angle tool, and get in there and undo them. Once you're done with those 2 Torx 20, you can also go ahead and remove these 2 Torx 20 on either side. Now once these screws are removed, you can just run your fingers along and pop this whole panel out. You'll see behind the screen there's another 4 Torx 20 that you have to undo, and then we can start pulling this whole console bit out. And once you pull the thing out, there's going to be a few plugs behind that you have to undo. So let's start by doing the top part for the screen. That's the power plug. And then there's the other LVDS plug. Let me take it out and show you how it comes out. Those 2 come out from the top of the screen. Then you can pull it aside a bit more. And you'll see there's a bunch of these push tab connectors. Now they only go in one way, so you don't have to worry about getting them wrong. Just get them out. You can see if I try to fit one in here, it doesn't fit. Same thing here. They're all different size. They look very similar. That all of those harness has been removed. Now there's only a couple more plugs at the very bottom. With these 2 plugs from the bottom removed, the whole console has come out and we can put it to the side. All right, next part for us to remove is this NTG5 radio right here. Now it's held in with these 2 Torx 20 on either side, so go ahead and undo them. Now you have to keep in mind, this car has already been played with a little bit on the inside, so your screws might be a little bit more tight, like a factory spec. This one seems to be very loose, which we're going to fix anyway, so it's all good. Once you undo these screws, just slide the tab up. There's some microfiber down there, and you can pull the whole NTG stereo out. Now once you pull it out a little bit, you have to get your hand behind, and there's a few plugs in there that's keeping it really tight, specifically the antennas on the driver's side. So just go ahead and undo that from the side, and that will allow for you to pull the radio out all the way. Alright, so once you've unplugged all of these plugs from the back, the NTG radio can sit on the side. In this case, what I also have to do is go ahead and remove all of the aftermarket wiring that was in there. In your case, it would all be stock, so you can skip that part and move on to the next, which is installation. Alright, so what I've done at this stage is gone ahead and put everything back to stock wiring, just so I could show you what needs to be done. So if you look at this plug right here, this is the main chunky quad lock power plug. So the top part on here, you will see this is your fiber optic cable, this orange twin pair here. So what you want to do is get your pick tool or anything really small and chunky quad lock power plug. So the top part on here, you will see this is your fiber optic cable, this orange twin pair here. So just push it up. See, the whole thing comes out. Now you'll see on here, there's a number. It's number 2 and it's number 1. So we saw that number 2 was facing outside. So when you plug in our new harness, we want to make sure number 2 is facing outside, and there's 2 inputs for fiber optics. You want to make sure you put it in the right spot, otherwise you'll have no audio. Now let's start by looking at the wiring here. So you see this here is the LVDS plug. Just plug that one in, and then we can go ahead and tape this one up. Now this is what will allow for you to have your original Aston Martin display onto our new head unit. Just tape the connection. This is our SIM card tray. RCA is out for the audio throughout the car. We're going to use an internal connection to have the audio running into the car. This is for connecting the fan. So the unit comes in with a built-in fan to cool it down. And you have the microphone, the aftermarket filtered microphone input. The first thing I like to do here is to cut the zip tie. That's removed. And then separate what we need and what we don't. So let's go audio out R and audio out L. You're going to need those 2 and the microphone input. So we put all of those to the side, and the rest of the things we can go ahead and tape it all up. Now this right here is the main power connection for the whole thing. So Just line it up like that. It will go in easy. Don't force anything, otherwise you'll end up bending a pin or two. Definitely don't want that. This is your canvas box, so that stays at the back. Then you've got your fiber optics. So again, look for number 2. This one says number 2, and there's also this little notch kind of thing on top of it. So once you remove it, you'll see this is what clicks it into the place. It's very hard to get it wrong, but I've seen a lot of people get it wrong, so try to make sure you don't want to get that one incorrect. And this is how the canvas disc box will talk to the screen for steering wheel controls and all the other stuff. So let's have that. And the other ones, we can go ahead and tape it all up. All right, running your wires, I usually like to go from behind up top here, and there's a little bit of room for you to wedge in your wires and not get it caught up onto your AC ducts. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Now it's time for your audio out cable. So what I like to do with this is, once you plug it in up top, is to have some nice taping around it so it looks very neat. So let's do that. So first, audio out to right and left to left. Then we're going to do some nice taping around the connection so that never comes loose from the vibration of the engine or anything. And then the rest, we're just going to tape it all up. We'll do the same thing on the other side, on the ends. This is your microphone plug. I can go ahead and tape it the connection so nothing comes loose later on. All of this will go inside our new screen. There's a big cavity behind. You'll be able to see just in a moment. Make sure none of the wirings are getting caught up on one another, so everything is separate. So everything that has to go on the screen, you can probably push it up top here for the time being, so that way everything stays away from the other plugs. Now for my audio cable, I've run it through here onto the side and entering into the center console next to a USB port from the side. All right, next bit to run is the 2 USB cables. So what I like to do, again, onto your passenger footwell, just run it up to the screen. Now these USBs can be used for charging your phone, connecting to wired CarPlay, playing movies through USB, updating the system. There's a whole lot of benefits to this, so we'll make sure we keep them intact. And what I like to do is to just tape them up together so they look very nice and neat. Leave a little bit of room so when you're plugging it in, they have enough room to be plugged in on both ends of USB. As you can see, with a little bit of taping, that looks fantastic. So same thing again, go onto the side, and what we'll do at the end is just zip tie everything together so we know none of this is going to get stuck in between the air con. Alright, now the final 2 addition to the system is this Wi-Fi antenna. Now this is for when you plug in a SIM card into the actual unit itself. Now this one, I'm pretty sure we can mount it up top in there. There's plenty of room in there for me to mount this. There's the Wi-Fi antenna, nice and up high on the dash. The other side will just do the same thing with your GPS antenna. Alright, now with the GPS, the Wi-Fi and the whole lot, everything has been mounted. Now the next part is starting to put everything back together. Now first thing that will go back in is your NTG5 radio in here. So we have to plug in the main chunky power connector first, and the rest of the antennas we can go at the back, shine some light and plug it back in exactly how it came out. Alright, after fiddling around a little bit with the radio, it's back in place. So now we can go ahead and screw our tabs back on. Alright, so now we move on to removing this original screen. So let's go ahead and undo the Torx screws. Probably better to just do straight onto the screwdriver. Alright, with that, the screen has been removed. We can put the screen to the side for now. Now we have to find out how we are going to mount in our new screen into that slot. Just put it here like that. Mock up our screen, and let's match the mounting points and the brackets. Alright guys, I think we figured it out how to mount this screen on there. So this metal bracket will come out of the original one. So 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, and then mount it back into the same spot onto this metal bracket on the new one. Put back our Torx 20, and then we can mount this onto our center console here. So slide it in place from the side, all locked in. 2 Torx 20, one on either side, that will hold it nice and firm in there. And now this whole thing is ready to go back into the car, and then we can start testing. When you do look inside here, you'll see everything can only plug in one way, so you can't really get it wrong. The only two confusing part is the 4G and the GPS. So the top antenna up here on the top left is your 4G, and the bottom one is the GPS. So mount those two first, plug everything in, plug everything that was here exactly how it came out, and then we can start testing before screwing things back on. Alright, so we've just turned the system on and done a couple of settings that I'll show you guys in a bit. Now that we know everything is working, we tested the cameras and the whole lot. As you can see, if you go right here, click on the apps, click on car UI, it takes you back into the original Aston Martin system, or the original NTG system, which this car is based on. And you can control everything like you did before. So like media, we've put it through the media AUX, so that's still there. Touch the screen, it takes you back into the new system. So now that we know that everything is working, what we're gonna do is slightly routing our wires properly as it should have been routed, and then be able to screw the whole system back on in place. Now you can tell the whole thing is lined up when these two screw holes are matching, as well as all of the side ones are matching, which it is now. So what I'm gonna do at this stage is quickly go ahead and put everything back together in the exact order that they came out. And once everything is back together, I'll see you guys in the next clip. All right, so now that we've done all of the setting, let me show you guys what kind of settings I've done. So basically what we did, when you go on here into back, onto the home screen, go onto canvas, click on vehicle settings. This will give you screen resolution. Click on that. This is an NTG 5.1. 800 by 480 is the original screen resolution. Or you can try 960 by 540. So it will show you what display resolution is on there. You click home, click apps, click on the car UI, and that will take you into the original car UI. Now, what you want to do here is click on the media, and we've plugged in our USB AUX inside there in the USB. So you want to make sure it's selected onto that. Click on that, you're good. To get back into the new menu, just touch the screen, takes you back into the new one. Let's go into CarPlay using the CarLink 2.0. Alright, so what you want to do when you press reverse, you can see it brings you up into the original thing. The doors are open, so the side cameras are not popping up. You can change the view and everything from here, no problem. Go back into park, goes away, back into Apple CarPlay. Now with this system, you can see it's super fast, super quick. You'll go down, go home, click on the apps, scroll across. There's YouTube, there's your online app store to download anything, and the user guide built in into the system. Really amazing. Everything working, steering wheel control, all the function on here, same as before. Now if you guys want to buy this exact kit and follow along for the whole installation, there's a link for it down in the description below. You can go onto it, buy the same kit, follow along. If you got any questions, send us an email on info@westernautocustoms.com.au. Now that's going to be it for us in this video. We'll see you next time around in another episode of DIY Made Easy. Peace!